Good morning and welcome to Live from the Heartland. Once again, it's Saturday morning. It's a beautiful spring Earth Day for us, April 22nd. First Earth Day was 1970. I was alive, like some of the others in this room.
Yeah,
but not all. We are so happy to be back at our home in the Heartland Cafe. We've got a great show planned for you today. We will run down all the news of the resistance that we can fit, but we're also going to talk with some folks about neighbors who have had to deal with a proposed development. It's more than proposed at this point at the CHA property at Devon and Sheridan. And we also have Dave Kraft, our friend, a longtime friend from NEIS, the Nuclear Energy Information Service, on the Climate March for next week. We have a new guest to us, Billy Bungaroth, who's a creative director of Second City, and talking about the event that Lynn just took away from me. Soul Spectacular at City Winery tomorrow. We'll get all the details to you. Right now...
right after this show is over with, all sorts of events going on besides the parade at noon, which Katie will talk about a little bit more. But the State of the City, a report on Rahm Emanuel's report card, starts at 10 o'clock at CTU Union Center in West Carroll. And it's from 10 to 1. It ought to be a pretty vigorous, exciting morning of reporting out what's been happening in our city or not.
Well, it's actually a State of the City kind of meeting. It will be over by 12:30. So if you want to go, 1901 West Carroll, the CTU headquarters, folks like David Orr, who will moderate a panel with Will Gazzardi, LaShawn Ford, and a member of United Working Families, addressing questions that a lot of us are looking at for the coming elections, all of them, from gubernatorial on to mayoral.
This Tuesday, April 25th, very important meeting here in the neighborhood. Another in the city series on community policing. The Community Policing Advisory Panel is meeting at Sullivan High School from 6:30 to 8:30. We should all show up if we're free that evening to both listen and to provide our input on how to improve police-community relations.
Yeah, and that's going to be a continuation of the work that we started with Network 49 on the Department of Justice report on policing. So this one is put together by the city. If you want to rep your neighborhood and wear a Network 49 badge while doing so, show up at Sullivan. Let's see.
The next evening, hosted by the Rogers Park Westridge Historical Society, David Orr will be talking about how we do things up here in this neck of the woods. This is Wednesday, April 26th from 6:30 to 7:30 at the Rogers Park Public Library. It's one reason why we postponed the next membership meeting of Network 49 until May 17th. More on that later.
Yes, more on that later. And I always love letting people know when the document shredding truck is nearby. And tomorrow is one of those days. The document shredding and electronic recycling is taking place at Republic Bank parking lot, 2720 West Devon. Starts at 9 a.m. Sunday morning. Clean your house up, folks. Come on, get rid of that stuff. Let's see, what else we got?
Early voting for participatory budgeting has begun, and we are particularly pushing the Gale School Learning Garden. We have talked about this project over the years.
It's a bald plug for that piece. Just a bald plug for the Learning Garden, which we love.
There's 6 or 7 or 8 very interesting projects in the ballot. This is the most important one, I think, if you're going to prioritize any, because it really came out of a community school education effort, and it's a very important initiative by A Just Harvest and others in the North Howard area.
Yep, it is. And if you need to, you can look at the participatory budgeting ballot online. Look for it. You know where to find it. Okay.
As some of you know, I have great affection for my mentor, Studs Terkel, and there's been a wonderful exhibit by Project Ann at the Harold Washington Library the last few months. It's just been extended through June. Working America is the name of the exhibit. Phenomenal photographs. Cheryl Corley of Public Radio is going to be doing a talk and discussion about that exhibit at the Edgewater Public Library on Tuesday, May 9th from 6:30 to 7:30. This ought to be a very intriguing evening, but also if you have a chance, this is a great exhibit on the top of the Harold Washington Library downtown.
You mean up on in the Winter Garden?
Up in the Winter Garden.
Wow.
Actually, excuse me. No, it's on
No.
the third floor.
Okay.
It's on the third
Good.
floor.
Somebody's chopping wood over there.
But I did go up to see the Herald exhibit in the Winter Garden. I always
I-
like to visit that one.
Yeah, it is. So we're going to talk more about the March for Science when we get our second guest up. But just everybody know, today's the day. It's going to be a beautiful day, and there's more to this Science March than you know. So we'll talk about that in a little while. But if you want to start going downtown, it starts on Columbus Drive. It looks like, Columbus Drive at Jackson, and starts going and goes south to near the Field Museum, where there are a number of different projects. We'll get more into those details.